Hello and welcome back to another video, and Big D on here, and we are doing what if Izuku Midorya ate the Opi. And just letting you know, no, this is not going to be a One Piece fusion, but it is the same time. Well, it's not going to be that at all. And, yes, Izuku's going to be able to swim. He's going to be able to swim, because it's not a One Piece fusion, it's something else. It's pretty much like, his quirk was that he spawned this thing. I'm just gonna explain it real quick. Basically, he spawned the Opi no Mi, right? And he ate it. And once he ate it, he can't spawn anything else. He just gained the abilities of the Opi no Mi. Yeah, I know it's kind of confusing. So yeah, his quirk is pretty much the Opi no Mi. I'm just gonna say they ate the Opi no Mi because he did, because he spawned it. That was his quirk at first. Until we ate the Opi no Mi. Instead of making him not able to spin, he wasn't able to spawn stuff, so all he's able to do is use the ability. And yes, this is Izuku's going to be overpowered, because the only way to stop the Opi no Mi is if you are the only way to stop the Opi no Mi is if you have hockey. You have to have strong hockey at that, but yeah. And nobody in the One Piece world, the My Hero Academia world has hockey. So yeah, so let's get into it. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be updated on my daily uploads. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna continue. Well, I'm gonna continue my Luffy what if, my One Piece what if, but yeah, I'm decided not to do 3. I'm 3 to 5. I'm just gonna like end that right there, and I'm gonna do that later on when I come back to it. And I'm going to start this new what if. So yeah, play my intro. Okay, I'm linking the script from my friend who made my intro. His YouTube and Instagram is down in the description. He made my intro and outro. He's one of my friends. So yeah, please go sub and follow. Alright, let's get into it. It's about time. Izuku is 4 years old, and Bakugo had already awakened his quirk about 5 months ago. 5 to 6 months ago. Then Izuku, out of nowhere, while walking in his house, had just started feeling a pain in his chest, and poof, out of his chest there's a light and drops of fruit, and it looks just like this. And it's the Opi fruit from One Piece. It's not like a mix. He's going to still be able to swim. So yeah, it's just like a quirk. So he goes towards his mom about the thing. He goes towards his mom, and his mom says, well, just eat it. Maybe that's your quirk. When you eat it, you get a special power. He eats the thing, and then out of nowhere, he just gets the instinct to put his hand up and say, room. And as he does that, this tiny room covering him and his mom, the whole entire room, his whole mom's room, is covered. And just imagine, and just says shift. And his mom, instead of being in bed, she teleports. Well, they don't teleport, they switch places. And for those of you who do not know, with the Opi no Mi can do, it's basically you create this room where you can do almost anything inside of it. Literally almost anything. You could take out diseases. Yeah, you could cut people's body parts, keep them. They could be alive still. You could switch people's body parts. You could switch people's heads with cannonballs if you want to. You could do pretty much. You could switch people's bodies. Yeah. All right, let's get back into it. Then Mom says, "Wow, what did you just do?" She says, "Okay, honey, stop, and then go to sleep, and when we wake up tomorrow, we'll go to the doctor's office," Midorya says. So after that, the next day they go to the doctor, and the doctor tests Izuku's quirk. After testing Izuku's quirk, the doctor notifies that Izuku has a quirk called room. They're just gonna call it room. That's what his quirk is called, room. And he describes to his mother, and so when he makes this room where he can do literally almost anything. He can switch people's bodies, and when he switches people's body, it's also switches, like, say if you and Izuku switch bodies. If you switch bodies with Izuku, if you switch bodies with no, say if Denki, Kaminari, and Bakugo switch bodies. If Denki switch bodies with Bakugo, Denki would not be Denki, since he's in Bakugo's body, he won't be able to use electricity, but he will be able to use his explosions. And Bakugo and Denki's body can use his Denki's electrification, but not his explosions for the sheet. Alright, now you guys know. Alright, let's get back into the video. So they explain that and they go home. The next day at school, Izuku tells Bakugo, and Bakugo is actually pretty jealous. But at the same time, it's a pretty good quirk. But growing up, Bakugo was never able to really rival Midorya. But he still had a close chance. But every time they fought, he would always lose. This did not make Bakugo mad at Izuku at all. It actually drove him to become even stronger. So at the age of 10, he was already as strong as he is at the start of UA Academy. Alright, so we're gonna skip till when I'm gonna time skip to when Izuku and Bakugo were 14 or 15, like right on the last day of middle school for them. The teacher walks up with a whole bunch of papers and throws them in the air. He says, I was going to hand out you these application forms for what you guys want to be in the future, but you guys all want to join the hero course, right? Everybody just screams and showing off their course like, yeah, and Bakugo jumps on his desk. He says, don't lump me or Deku in with these chumps. They'll be lucky enough to get and to be sidekicks for some D-listers. Then he says, then the teacher says, now, Bakugo, quiet down. Oh, and wasn't it you and Midorya that are going to UA? Bakugo says, yeah, and we can make it easily. Bakugo, at the age of he is now, which is the last day of middle school, he's as strong as Bakugo is. He's as strong as Bakugo is in season 3. Season 2. You know, on season 2, the sports festival, yeah, he can do a howitzer impact, but it's actually stronger than it is in the season 2 version. And Izuku is so strong, like nobody he knows. Every single villain, Izuku sometimes encounters villains and he beats them pretty easily. He's trained with heroes before that he has met because they saw his strength. So he trained in combat and he uses a sword. He uses this tiny sword. Well, it's not tiny, it's just a regular sized sword, but he doesn't always have it on him. He only uses it when he tries to play hero. Or when he's playing with Bakugo. And what he uses it for, just a quick disclaimer, is when he makes his room, he chops Bakugo in half and sends him floating. And no, it does not kill him because it's in Izuku's room, and he could reattach him anytime he wants to. So yeah. So then the bell rang, and it's time for school to end. Izuku writes in his notes, he's still obsessed with heroes and All Might. They both are. Bakugo then asks Izuku, hey, Izuku, you want to go get something to eat? Bakugo says. Izuku then says, no, I'm good. I'm just going to take the long way home. As Izuku is walking a long way home, the sludge villain comes out of the sewer. When he comes out of the sewer, Izuku automatically activates his room. And he goes, room. And the villain thinking, oh, this is nothing. This kid can't do nothing to me. He chops him in half, and then the sludge villain thinks, you can't chop a liquid. He chops the liquid, but it actually worked. And then the sludge villain is so confused, Izuku punches it, knocking it out. And I know, wait, you can't knock a liquid out? In his room, he can't. Well, in his room, he can. So he did that, and yeah. He gathers them up in the water bottle. Using his room abilities, he just puts all the liquids in 2 water bottles that he had in his backpack for school that day. And one problem, yes, this is the problem with room. It takes a lot of hydration, and when he makes too big of a room, it's harder to control that room. Yeah. So he gets dehydrated, and it's hard to control that room. And then All Might shows up, and he says, oh, I'm here. All Might had watched that whole fight, and is very surprised. He then asks Izuku what his quirk is, and Izuku explained that he has a quirk called Room. He can pretty much do anything inside his room, as long as as long as that person's in it, whoever's in his room, he can do almost anything to them, or he can do anything in his room, pretty much. Then All Might says, that's great. Then All Might thinks to himself, wonderful. He seems pretty built for a kid his age. Whatever. So, young Midorya, can you please pass me those water bottles filled with sludge villain? Oh, Izuku says, here you go. Thanks, All Might. As Izuku is walking away, and All Might jumps away. All Might accidentally drops in midair, but nobody really notices. This happens, and Izuku's walking away. He's like super excited. He tried to he kept his cool around All Might because it's Izuku. So yeah, he ran. Well, this Izuku is more confident in himself, just so you know, because growing up with a quirk, it gave him more confidence that he can become an even stronger hero. He knows that he can become a hero. Unlike in the first one, he was insecure about whether or not he could become a hero or not, But this one, he knows he can. And his goal, him and Bakugo's goal, is to surpass All Might. All right, let's get into it. Let's get back into the video. My bad. So running down the street, trying to rush to where Bakugo is, rushing home. Izuku hears this loud bang, and the explosions are twice as large as they were in the original. Izuku says, "That's it. That's Kachan. That's his explosions. I know it." He runs as fast as he can, using his room so he can float, so he can hover there. To make him fly, pretty much, to go faster. And as he makes it there, he sees Izuku. He sees Bakugo there. He runs towards him. He activates his room, slashes Bakugo out of the sludge villain's way, because the sludge villain tries to consume the Bakugo so he can take over Bakugo's body, and yeah. So he stopped the sludge villain and knocked the sludge villain out again. All Might sees it and he says, oh, a true hero that kid is. I have to go. So All Might goes, he gathers up the water bottle, says thank you to Midorya, and as Midorya walks off without Bakugo, because everybody was talking about Bakugo, because there's what a wonderful quirk. And Izuku got away from every hero just before they could talk to him, because he used his room to shift out of there. All Might runs towards Midorya and says, young Midorya, what I saw today, twice actually, was heroic. Was the most heroic act I've seen from any kid or anybody your age or anybody from in a while. Will you please take my quirk? All Might says. Midorya says, huh? Take your quirk? All Might then says, my quirk is one for all. It's passed down from one generation to the next. So please, young Midorya, may you please take take my quirk. Midorya then says, yes, All Might, I'll take your quirk gladly. But right away, All Might already gives him his quirk. And this is where I'm going to end the video. So please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you be updated on my daily uploads. And link in the description for my friend who made my intro and outro. His Instagram and YouTube are down there. So go sub and follow. And peace out.